Friends, welcome to another episode of the Christian Women in Business podcast. It is so great to have you here today. I'm not sure if you have ever recognized, and I'm sure a lot of you have, that how easy it is to be triggered through stuff that we do in our businesses. So I was chatting with a friend the other day, and it came up as a topic of conversation that just how much different things can suddenly trigger us, and how this whole process of business, just like being married or having kids, brings out different things in us that allows us to learn about ourselves and progress as we understand who we are and how God made us. And I guess I wanted this podcast today to be an encouragement for you in the way that if you feel like you're in a season of growth, you might not actually realize you're in that season of growth. It might look like hurt. It might look like triggering things are happening, and it might look like you're getting nowhere or being pulled back. And the themes that I've noticed throughout my own kind of business life is that often when we're being pulled back or when things are coming up for us, God's trying to bring something to our attentions for us to learn about ourselves that I think it's really important that we take on board and we hear and we listen for the lesson that's trying to be taught in that situation to allow us to move forward or move on with what it is that's going to happen next, whether it be business, life, whatever. Whenever the upgrade comes, there's always some shedding, and there's always something painful, unfortunately, of learning something about ourselves or realizing that something's happening in our business. It's triggering us, and we need to work through that for us to be able to move on to the next thing. And these can array from all different things of life or things that come up, and just some examples of this. And it's also related to a little bit of trauma as well from my perspective, that I know for me, one of my traumas was opening up my emails and having to go through the process of tenant things. I know one of the things for me is being a landlord. I found that quite triggering, and I think I've spoken about this in previous podcasts before, but for me the trigger is, and what trauma has brought with past experience has been chasing up rents that are late. Now, by law in most states of Australia, if your tenants are more than 2 weeks behind in their rent, you actually have every right to issue a termination notice. I'm interrupting this podcast to bring something special to you today. Imagine 4 days away in the beautiful Noosa hinterland, surrounded by stillness, space, and soulful strategy. I would love to introduce to you the Wild Women's Business Retreat. This is your chance to step out of the busy and into intentional clarity. I've been invited to co-host this amazing time away with my dear friend Stacey Close from the Rewildery, and together we'll help you to do the deep dive work, crafting a brand message, refining your offers, and setting up systems to help simplify your business but enable you to soulfully scale. If you're a trailblazer just like us and you want to be taken on a trail that you can learn on and help your mind be expanded within your business, this retreat is for you. July 29 till the 1st of August 2025 in the hinterland of Noosa, you're going to be taken away to have this much needed time of groundedness, of focus, of soulful systems and automations. There's only 6 spots that are going to be available for you to join us on the retreat. So if you're wanting to leave with clarity, just leaving knowing that you've worked on something within your business and having that refreshness in your soul, this retreat is for you, and we can't wait to hold this space for you. To register, head over to christianwomen.co/events. Head down to this retreat section and you can find out more and book your spot through there. But we're graceful people. We understand that things happen in life that are unexpected, or unexpected bills might come up, car, whatever. So I'm always mindful to tell tenants that when they're moving in, if something does happen and they're unable to pay their rent, to please let me know beforehand, communicate it, just so I've got a heads up and know that I need to keep an eye on, because obviously mortgages come out just as much as rent comes in. People seem to think that landlords are this like ever evolving wealth of money, that they're just rich because they own houses, and you might have a lot of assets, but the bank loves taking money, and so does the council, just as much as the rent comes in. So that often isn't the case. So it just allows for me to then be able to plan if the mortgage is coming out and they're not putting in rent, and then to work out either a payment method that they can pay the rent off or whatever it might be. And so I went through personally some pretty big trauma with chasing up debt. And I was always fearful of looking at bank statements, looking at my Excel ledger spreadsheets that I've got all my rent ledgers on, and what email am I going to get back from the tenant, because you deliver it via email first, and then I'd issue a letter after that if I had no response via email. And so for me, that triggered a lot of things, and I've had to work through that a lot. Now, I'm not saying now that I've fixed that suddenly I'm able to go and buy all these other properties. That's not the case at all. In a completely different season of life now. But I've put things in place that have enabled me to work through that trauma. And I actually do that thing first every week, because I don't like doing it. I don't like doing rent ledgers anyway. I don't like sitting there and punching numbers in. That just isn't my jam. It's just something that I need to do to be a good steward of the things that God's given me. So I do it first thing, and it helps get it out the way. I used to do it last on a Friday, and I used to just be like pepping myself up all the way through the week to reach Friday to then do the rent ledgers and make a mountain out of a molehole. Where now it's the opposite. I do it first. They're all up to date. I'm on top of it straight away, and I know that through the week that's done now, and I don't have to think about it. I know that everyone's up to date with their rents and everything's done. And for me, that's made me a better person of business and a better investor and a better landlord. Just keeping on top of that and keeping a fresh perspective of chasing that thing first in the week and making sure that everything's up to date and all the bills are paid as well, which is another big thing with being a landlord, especially when you've got a few properties, is there's always something that needs to be paid for, just like business too. So different things might come up. I know for my friend, it was when she saw an invoice for something, and then suddenly all this fear came into her mind. So what's that fear coming from? What's causing it? What emotions are going on in her body for that? And I know that all that she shared with me, it was coming from that place of, what if my business isn't successful? So it's going, well, it's successful up to this point, and what if it isn't? What's going to happen? You've got beautiful family, beautiful friends, beautiful home, like you're taken care of. It's fine. It's just our ego that holds on to that. What if I'm not successful? And I think ego in ourselves, and I mean that in the most beautiful way, God gave us an ego, and that ego can either stumble on us or we can use it to our advantage. And by using it to our advantage, it's going, well, yeah, okay, these things might happen, and who cares? I don't care what other people think. I don't care how other people perceive me. I've been given this purpose. I believe in what I do, and I'm going to go for it. And I know that as long as I give value, and that the person's getting value out of what I'm giving them or providing them, then let's just go hell's guns. I have another friend as well who's in business, that she went into a completely different niche, completely different business altogether, from e-commerce to service-based. And the different fears that have been coming up for her have been really interesting, as well as it's growing and different things are happening, and taking on staff members, and what does that look like, and what if there's not enough work for the staff members, and just taking that risk is very confronting and very real. And I think as females generally, having that, we're not natural providers. Like God, I believe God didn't make us natural providers. I don't mean that we're not capable of. Hear me right here. We're not capable of. We are completely capable of providing, but we just are built differently. And our instincts are different, and we do naturally want to nurture people, and we want to help people, but that primal thing that God's put in us of we must provide food, when we are stepping into that more, there's a trends going around of feminine and masculinity, but I actually do think that that's just the way that God's made us. He made woman to complement the man. He didn't make us to become men. And that's why there's Adam and there's Eve. And that's why there's females and males to reproduce. We provide what men can't. So I just want to encourage you that if you're feeling like you are, hang on, let me just note down that. I want to encourage you that if it feels like you're being pulled back, or if you're feeling like these fears and random things are coming up in your mind and you're just feeling a little bit out of control with it, or you're just not sure what's going on, to trust this season, and rather than going, oh my gosh, there's all this fear, change the mindset to what can I learn from this situation, or what can I learn from this season that God's put me in, and how do I take that forward with what's to come next. Write it down, journal it, think about it, talk to God, pray about it. In our Thrive Reset that we had a couple of weeks ago, it was amazing the different things that came up for the women, for them as well, as they were thinking about what to do next, and maybe what fears were coming up for them as well. And it's just so interesting that we all do go through similar fear things. There's the what if I'm not successful, but then there's the what if I am successful, and then what do I do with that? There's just lots of different perspectives of triggers, and learning to live in the moment as well. I think it is important to think forwards and to forecast and to do all those important dream goal setting things, and that's why we do that in Thrive Business Resets. But it's also so important to be in the now and what's happening now, and to really encompass the journey that God's given us and what he's given us today, and that can help take a lot of that fear away as well. If you're coming up with, oh, what if I don't make enough money, or what if I don't have a successful, or if the work doesn't keep coming in. Is the work here now? Yes. Then focus on that. The work's here today. I'm going to go off what today has brought. Is someone still buying your offer or service or items today? Yes. Then trust that. Trust that each day in the day that things are going to be provided for and things are going to be covered for you to make those different moves and to strategize with what it is you need to do next, whether it's employ another staff member, if it's to get help around the house, whatever that means for you with building your team. It can be external business team that you build to help support you do your business. It can be getting someone in to actually help you run your business while you focus on the service element of your business. If that's what lights you up and that's what brings you joy, there's no right or way of how you should run your business if it's in line with who God's made you and how you do things in life. And that looks so different for so many people. So be encouraged that it's okay to set up your business how you want to. Learn from the things that are coming up right now and put them both together. Okay, this is what I'm learning in this season. Other people are doing business this way, but for me, this is how it works. This is how I want to lead. This is how, and even if you're not feeling like you're great in your leadership, it's okay to bring a leader in as well, as long as you can share that vision together and they align with your values and what it is you want to try and achieve. It might be worth getting a manager in to manage people for you and your staff. If that's not where you're at with what brings you joy and how God's made you, that's okay. Get someone in to help. There's lots of different ways you can structure a business. As long as you're making money and you're making profit, all the in-between bits, as long as it runs smoothly, it's better to get someone into your weakness, be it manager, project manage, whatever it is, and for your business to run smoothly and efficiently than for it to be bottlenecked up with you, or that from you freaking out about something when you can get someone else in to do that for you will help propel you forwards anyway. So be encouraged, learn. We all go through the pulling back, the stripping, the scaling, the pruning, however it is you want to word it, throughout all the different seasons in our business and what God wants us to learn. And remember, God is not focused on the destination. He's not. He's focused on your heart and who you are as a person. And he loves you just as much without a business than when you've got a business. So don't hold all your value on that. You're listening to the Christian Women in Business podcast, and I'll catch you next time.